Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Live to Roll channel. I'm your host for the day, Brianna Wheeler, and we are back with another Women's Disability Show. Today, we're going to be talking all about our 2021 favorites and just go through a couple of different things and talk about, our goals and our favorite movies and quotes and all that kind of stuff. So it should be just an easy, chill, live. If you want to chime in, if you're joining us, you can feel free to tell us your favorite things or answer the questions as well with us, and I'll make sure to go through and read them out. So don't be embarrassed. Make sure to put your information there and let us know how your 2021 year was. Okay, so we're gonna start with our high points of the year. So let's go through. Let's start with Ashley and Nikki. What was your guys' high point of this year?
My high point was for sure going to Louisiana and seeing my grandma, which we just did last week. So that was awesome. That was my high point. What
Oh,
about you?
Um, I was saying like just kind of getting my life back on track, like starting therapy, working out consistently, like
Getting those
yeah,
gains.
feeling stronger, like physically and mentally. Yeah, yeah,
I love that. Yeah, that's super cool. How was your guys' trip? I saw that. Was that your guys' first trip together inside of chairs?
yeah. It was our first trip in our chairs, and
Well, your first trip.
no, my first trip, not Ashley's. Ashley went on a trip, so it was
She was like,
interesting
peace.
because it's like a
Yeah.
15-hour drive. So it was,
Mhm.
Yeah. It was an adventure.
yeah, going on a trip in our favorite rocket ship.
Zooming through the
But it was
sky.
fun. It was nice to see our grandma.
Yeah. And a
That's
big
super
one.
cool. I love that so much. I think that traveling's so important and to just get that like empowerment back because I kind of feel like, you feel like it's kind of stripped away when you're disabled and you don't feel like it's possible to do those things anymore. I've met so many people who have told me like, "Oh, I used to travel so much and like I can't do that anymore." And we have to just remind them that you can. And you have to remind yourself it's not easy. I barely just went on my first trip by myself, like it's not easy to do, but so proud of you guys. Those are great high points. Love it so much. How about you, Maya? What was your high point of the year?
My high point of the year was probably last month. I went out to California to film some dance videos with the Rollettes, and I've been practicing so hard by myself, like adapting dance moves and just dancing every day in my house. And I got to like be center of a couple of dances and like split center, so that was like really rewarding for me to see all of like my hard work that I've been doing at home pay off. So that was a lot of fun, and I'm excited for everyone to see the videos when they come out.
Oh, that makes me so happy. I literally got chills right now just to see that. I remember you manifested it, you dreamed it, like right from the moment that you met them and that you were like in that spot, you were still your body was weak, your mind was weak, you were dancing your ass off and you were so exhausted at the end, and you were just like you saw the possibilities and they came true. And it's been so cool to watch that, you know, over the last couple years, you just flourish and really find yourself again.
Thank you, Brianna.
Oh, you're welcome. Love you so much. How about you, Jessica? What was your high point of the year?
I would say quitting my job and going full time in my private practice, running my own business, like having that freedom. I think with a disability, we need wiggle room, and really being your own boss is the way to get all the accessibility you need and the downtime you need. So I think just going full time in my private practice.
Yeah, I love that. That was probably really scary, to make that final decision, trust yourself. And that's so amazing that you're out here showing other boss ass bitches that you can still do it, and that you can still run a business and you can still, be your own boss and all this other stuff. And you don't have to follow underneath somebody else and feel like you're being punished, just because you're inside of a chair.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I think my high point was definitely winning the Boundless Babe Award. I think about that moment all the time and it just really gets me through like my low points. That was such a magical moment for me, to really see it full circle and to really feel and like my most strongest self before that even night, because that night happens on Saturday, so I'm there like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, like all day long, and just to see the growth in myself. It was the first time I went without my family and I was by myself, and the first time that I was comfortable going up to like girls that I had no idea who they were, and they were just by themselves, and I was like, hey, hang out with me, and I just like saw that growth in myself, and I was just so comfortable in my own skin, and then to be recognized for that and to just be told like keep going, it was so empowering. So I remember those moments and how I felt, since then, and it's really been my high point of my year. So yeah, and also getting a new car, that was a high point too. I've been without one for the 5 years that I've been injured. And, like we were talking about, to be mobile is so important. And to have that freedom back it does something for your soul. When it's stripped away from you, you feel like you lost something. You feel more disabled, I feel like. So I think it's really important to find that new normal again. Okay, so let's talk about low points. Maybe we should have did low points first. My bad. Okay. Maya, what was your low point of the year?
So my low point of the year, there's been like a couple of them that are kind of combined, but like in a nutshell, I've been dealing with spasticity really bad. And I've always had spasms really bad in my legs, but now I'm getting spasticity pretty bad in my arms. So like getting into my manual wheelchair, I've been in it for like almost 2 years now. That was amazing for me, but now I'm to the point where I'm not really like pushing myself the best because my arms are locking up, and it like makes me feel really sad. And I've had days where I'm just like completely down and out because I feel like I can't do anything, and I'm like, okay, well, was it a mistake fighting to get in a manual chair instead of a power chair? Like, and I just have all these thoughts about it, and I'm just really trying to figure out the spasticity. So that's still kind of a low point for me right now, and hopefully I can figure some stuff out in the next year, in the 2022.
Yeah, that definitely is hard. I know that a lot of girls struggle with going from a manual to a power wheelchair and like really feeling comfortable and like, in a slimmer manual wheelchair, just like, of course you don't want to feel like different from the group that you already feel different, and like you want to feel like as fit in as possible. I think that's what goes through a lot of girls' head. But there are other devices, and don't be ashamed of what you have to do best for your body as well. There's also those push rims that we were talking about. So I need to make sure that I'm gonna bug them right after this. Sometimes Trans Foundation needs to be bugged a little bit, so I will do that for you, girl, and see about getting you some of those wheels because those are really helpful. Because what happens is that you push and it gives you like a little bit extra
Mm.
of a push. I don't know if anybody in the chat. I'm hearing a little bit of a clicky noise. Do you guys get it? Is that me or no?
Yeah, I
Probably
hear
should.
it.
Okay,
Maya, so you're already working on getting push rims?
No, I mean I have like the rib grips, but I don't have like
wait,
the
hold on.
power push.
Somebody's echoing really bad. Can you guys try muting really quick so I can see who it is? Was it you guys's? Okay, Jessica, talk.
Hello.
Okay, go on. There was some clicking noise. Sorry.
So you're getting push rims, like so that the power ones, not grips.
Well,
That's the one
I haven't looked into it like myself yet because I've been kind of like just still debating because I want to be able to push my chair and I want my arms to get better, but I think the power assist push rooms would probably help.
Yeah. Well, message me later, but maybe even are you on baclofen?
I am.
Have they talked to you about the pump?
Yeah, they have. And like, I've been afraid to do it, but I am going to go and get the trial to see how it works, like where they inject it directly into my spine to see like if it's something that I want to do. Just because I try to stay away from so many pharmaceuticals, so I'm like, I don't want a pump inside of me, like so. But I guess I'm gonna have to bite the
I.
bullet.
Well, I was even against the medication, but then for 2 years I couldn't push myself. And then I finally started taking the medication and I was able to push myself. But even then, we had to play with the dosage because they wanted to put me on a pump too. So I just had to figure out what dosage worked and to what level I was okay with spasms. But I mean, it's like Brianna said, like if you get to a point where there's something that's hindering your independence, then that's something where it's like if it helps your independence, then that's a good route to take. Like Peter says, he has it.
How does it work for you? How is it dealing with the dosage and really finding what works best for you? If you could describe that for us a little bit, we would really appreciate it. Yeah,
For
because
Yes.
I
me,
know that's scary for you, Maya, to have it like something injected in you. But the thing about it is that there's different dosage. And I think the most important thing to remember is that you're not taking more than what you need. You're taking what you need to be independent and get through the day. And that's where you have to find your thin line. It's really important because of course some people are like, yeah, I need all these milligrams. But yourself, and I think you're very dedicated to your recovery and very aware of it. So I think that's something just to mention to your doctor, like, let's start the lowest, because some doctors do want to start you on a higher dosage. So you just advocate for yourself and be like, no, I want to start on the lower dose and see how it works, and then I'll gradually update it. And
Yeah.
I'm sure that you'll see a difference once it starts working or not working for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So that's big. So I will definitely try to see. So do you have the grips, or you just, or no? Sorry.
I do have grips. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I thought so. Okay. So I'm gonna check about the push rooms for you. If anybody else is in the chat that has the push rooms, is that what they're called?
They're called
no,
power
it's
assist.
power assist.
A power assist. Okay, there we go. Sorry. um, if you guys have those, how does it help you? Does it help you guys more, less? Do you guys prefer something else? I know that a lot of quads do not prefer smart drives because it's a little bit more harder to control. So yeah, I heard that those power assist devices do help. Okay, so let's go on. Ashley and Nikki, what was your guys' low point of the year?
Um, a low point, I think for me was just, I don't know how to word it. Was probably like the beginning of the summer. I feel like Ashley and I were going through it, but I'll speak for myself. And then I just feel like it really put me in a funk for like a long time, but I'm strong, so I've been just pushing through, but you know, just life, yeah. Nah.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Ashley?
That's it. The beginning of the summer, and like if you don't, if you know, you know. We had some personal things going on, and it really messed with my mental health and physical health. So
Yeah.
that was my
So
low
that's
point
that's
for sure.
important to acknowledge. That's so cool that you guys, I don't know if cool is the right word, but it's such a big point of growth to reach, to acknowledge when you're reaching those points of mental health, and how to pull yourself back out of it, and like that it's not good, and what is triggering those things that make you feel that way. So I think that that shows a lot of growth with you guys, that you guys are acknowledging it and you guys are doing
Thank you.
it. Jessica, what was your low point of the year?
I think my lowest point was dealing with insurances and running out of catheters like completely. Um, And it was interesting because it also is the reason I quit my job and decided to open my home practice full time. So I think even though it was a really low point, it's really stressful to think that you're not going to have catheters, as we all know. Like, especially me, like, to me, I always feel like I can adapt most things and figure it out, but no catheters, that one was hard. So, I mean, luckily we have an amazing community and it's about reaching out to everyone I know to get catheters, but it is one of the scariest things. So, I think that and just realizing how jacked up our system is and it's a
Mhm.
mess, but again, from that negative came the positive of just finally giving me that push that I needed to go full time.
I think that that's super cool, and it sucks realizing that you have to deal with these people and that you don't really know when it's going to end, you know. And it kind of is a sucky subject to talk about with newly injured people too, because it's just like, you know, I can only give you so many tips, but unfortunately you are going to run into errors. You're going to have to do appeals, you're going to have to advocate and fight, unfortunately, in the system, you know. I wish I could tell you that it gets better, but we haven't reached that point yet, you know. So like, and it is a sucky realization, because you're just like, oh, if I wasn't disabled, I wouldn't have to be dealing with this, you know. And you go down that whole rabbit hole. So dealing with that stuff is definitely hard. Sorry, my dog
Yeah.
is being a little baby over
The
here.
crazy thing is when they tell you, well, you already owe so much money. Are you sure you want to order more catheters? And I was like, well, the other option's death. So, like, it's such a jacked up
Yeah,
system.
you're like, you know, don't really have very many options, but thanks. Yeah, it kind of sucks because they don't really know what it feels like, you know. And so they're just dealing with so many people a day that they become almost numb to what we're going through, I think. And it's a flaw in our system, unfortunately, right now. I think that my lowest point was definitely dealing with the isolation from COVID. That was very, very hard for me because in my journey, I found like my you know mojo back within the community, you know. So I went from being very depressed and then going to two groups a week to doing events on the weekend to being just saturated with will friends everywhere. My whole life was just busy. And then all of a sudden we were isolated and I couldn't do nothing. I couldn't even go to the freaking store. And like I was not okay in my head. And I was realizing that I was getting very negative. I was getting very snappy, getting very sad. You know, my anxiety shot up and I was at a low point, and I just kind of had to be honest with myself and get into things that would make me feel better. So I was honest with any of my friends that I was talking to with what I was feeling. I was honest on my groups that I do monthly with the girls on there. It's just a small group of girls that I feel like I can be very honest with. And sorry, my dog is being very annoying today. That I can be honest with. And I was just very honest with them. And I was just like, you know, I'm having a hard time. I'm not really okay. I want to come on here and motivate you guys, you know, but I'm not feeling very motivated myself. And that helped me. That helped me so much. It's just like being like, hey, you're not alone in this. And what advice would I give other people? I have to take that advice myself. So I started getting extremely into self-help books. I started doing my little mini DIY houses. It comes with like a bunch of little pieces, and I kind of just gives me something to fiddle with and do, just to be creative. I had to realize that I couldn't just be sitting there watching TV because I get drained. I couldn't just be sitting there on social media because I get drained. I have to feel like I'm doing something productive and I'm moving forward. So that's what really helped me in my low point this year. So let's go to our biggest lesson or realization this year. So, Nicole, what was your biggest lesson? Anything specific? Oh, we can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me
Yeah.
now?
Yes.
I'd say my biggest lesson was to let things be and like let it go. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That's kind of how I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. It's been a big lesson for me, I guess, in 2021. Like just let it go, just be at peace. Like yeah. So
That's a good one. It seems so simple, but it's hard to get through your head sometimes, you know, when you're not taught it. Love it. How about you,
yeah.
Ashley?
For me, my biggest takeaway I would say would be keep having a good heart and like just trying to be the happiest that I could possibly be. Yeah, that's what I would
Love
say.
that. I love that so much. And I love your little posts that you do in the morning too, that you just motivate yourself so much. It's so important
Thank
to
you.
do. How about you, Jessica? What was your biggest lesson this year?
I think it's been one of my biggest lessons is to call on help from others. I think I've always been really good at helping everyone, and just trying to figure out my stuff on my own. So, like I said, like even the catheter situation, I had people say, "Why didn't you reach out sooner?" You know? And so I think that I wait until it's like drastically needed, the help.
Mhm.
So I think that was my biggest lesson, that as much of a resource as I am to our community, I do have a lot of people that are there for me, and I need to utilize it before it's too late, because I don't have to figure it all out on my own.
I love that. That's so important to remember. It's super hard. I feel like we fight so much for our independence that it's really hard for us to reach the point to be able to reach out and to be able to admit, like, hey, can't do this, need some help, and to feel lower then. But I think it's important for us to keep on reminding ourselves that it's life and that it's important and it makes us strong to reach out. It's so important. Um, I think my biggest lesson or my realization was that my trauma isn't my fault, but it's my responsibility to heal myself now. And it's my responsibility to backtrack and realize the parts in my life where the things that I was taught wrong and how to fix it and to acknowledge my flaws and to acknowledge that I am a person with flaws and that it can't always be about life or other people that are doing things that I have to really stop and pause and take a step back and be like, what can I fix in this situation? What can I do differently? You know, the same way that you want other people to react, you have to be that in yourself as well. And I think that was really hard for me to acknowledge, and to accept. So yeah, that's what I went through this year. How about you, Maya?
For me, it has really been like learning how to lean on God throughout my day. Because like I do my Bible study and devotions in the morning, and then I'm pretty much like done talking to God throughout the day, and I felt like that was enough. And so throughout this year, and really the past couple of months, I've been learning like how to just reach out to God throughout the day and just, get whatever I'm going through off of my chest in the moment. And it's really helped me like in so many ways. And I'm so grateful.
Yeah, I love that so much. I have to remind myself too to like turn to God not only when things are going wrong or when I'm at my saddest, but when I'm at my high points too, And I think it's like something that I have to constantly remind myself to do. And like, I like the empowerment that it gives me, and how I complete the rest of my day with that. And when I had those breaks, and I realize that I'm not as overwhelmed or my anxiety doesn't go as high up, and maybe that's just like being able to stop during your day and take a breath. Sometimes our days are just going so much and our thought and our mind, it's just onto the next thing that we don't really have a moment to really breathe, and to really,
Mhm.
just to relax. And I think that's what causes a lot of things like anxiety, or anger or stuff like that to skyrocket. So I think that's a part. Even for me, my nerves go freaking crazy. If I'm super stressed out, like I need to sometimes just need to relax my freaking body or else I'm too tensed up.
Yes,
Um,
girl.
yeah, let's see what's going on in the comments. Ricky, life on will, spasms do suck, but they're helpful at the same time. That's like a love-hate relationship I heard with spasms, right? You have to like learn how to use them to your advantage. Peter was letting me know that it's called a power assist. Thank you, Peter. I'm like the power wheels. What was I calling them? I cracked myself up. Okay, so Peter said they refill mine every 3 months. I still have pretty bad spasms. So it just like probably minimizes it. I feel like that's what my pain medication does. It does not take my pain away, but it's like getting hit with the hardest punch and then getting hit with the second hardest punch. It's like it doesn't hurt as bad, but it's like I still appreciate the little bit of relief, but it still hurts a lot, like, but it's just you have to find that balance, unfortunately. So maybe it will just give her that little bit of relaxation that she needs to be able to push her chair, but you don't know unless you try, honestly. I know a lot of people do have the backup implants. Mhm. J Mac, I hope I'm saying that right. Can relate with Maya and spasticity. I started in a power chair, then managed to get into a manual, but with powered wheels, emotion by by Aber, is that what that says? Are amazing. Yeah, Emotion, that's what they're called, right? That's another good one.
I definitely have to
Yeah.
give it a shot.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Because you're in LA so much, yeah, I don't know. Um, so a lot of times the Triumph Foundation, which is an organization and nonprofit out here in Southern California, they have a lot of extra equipment that they will loan out sometimes. So I just have to follow up with them and see if they have something with you. Since you're always coming out to LA, I don't see why they wouldn't have a problem meeting up with you. Um, Peter said, before the pump, I could not bend my legs at all to dress. Yeah. So it's like,
Mm.
it helps a bit, like, yeah. I don't know if I'm wording that right, but you don't know unless you try. I don't have one, so I really can't give too much advice, but I know a lot of people really say that they work well.
Yeah, I mean, luckily they offer like the trial where they just do a spinal tap and inject it into your spine, so you could see how it helps you for a few hours. So I'll give that a shot. I get new insurance in December, so the place that does it here will accept me. So
Woohoo! Okay,
I
so let's go to our. What were you gonna say, Jessica?
I tried Botox too.
mm,
So I mean, I have Botox in my bladder, but I tried it on my abductors for my spasms that close my legs, and that was a total fail. But baclofen, baclofen did help, but I'm like the love hate. So if I take too much baclofen and my spasms are gone, I'm like passing out or falling over. So I need a certain amount of spasm. But if it's too much, like I can't push at all because I'll fly out of my chair. So it's just finding the right balance. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so that's another thing. Like when you're playing with these medications, it's frustrating, but when you find the right one or the right dosage, it's like so much more helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the battle with these medications.
Mm.
Is it's very trial and error, but don't give up. Especially because so many people are like saying that it works. If so many people are like, no, don't get it, it doesn't work at all. It doesn't help. Like I would be questioning it a bit, but a lot of people do say that it has helped them at least a little bit. Um, okay, so favorite quotes. So Nikki, what's your favorite quote of your year?
Um, Here I have it written. So I was thinking about this. So I didn't really have like a favorite quote, but I heard this the other day and I really liked it and I thought I should share it with the world. It says,
You gotta tell them where it's from too.
I think eventually we learn to define happiness for ourselves on our own terms in spite of the pain people have caused us.
Ooh, love it, love it. Great. That was powerful. Where was it from?
Yeah. It was from, I've been watching the show One Tree Hill. And one of the characters said that.
You're like,
It's
bingo.
Ashley's favorite show.
Love it. That was
And
good.
finally giving it
Powerful.
a chance. Yeah, right?
I
Grabbed
love
it.
TV shows. I feel like because it gives us like a different perspective. Well, it makes me like get a different perspective on things, or like think about like really good sayings that I wouldn't normally think about. That's why I really fall in love with that. Um,
One
Yeah,
Tree
and they get a
Hill.
little deep.
One Tree Hill.
how about you, Ashley?
Okay. So I have two. Okay. The first one is forget regret or life is yours to miss. Pretty self-explanatory.
Mhm.
Forget regret or life is yours to miss from Ren.
Got on our wall.
Yep, that on my wall. My favorite quote.
That's a good one.
And then another one, also from One Tree Hill. I think we waste our words and we waste our moments and we don't take the time to say the things that are in our hearts when we have the chance. Period.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Tree Hill was really on it, guys.
It's been off for a while,
Mhm.
hasn't it?
No, I said it's on it.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, it's on it. Oh, it's on point. I thought you said it's iconic.
It is that too.
You're all
Ashley
both.
loves that show. I'm just
I've
give me a
never
chance.
like really watched it. Maybe I have to watch it. I should put it on my list. I
You
love
should. You
shows.
should. It's on Hulu.
I will.
It's amazing.
Um,
I've seen you
how
guys
about you?
post it, and I'm like, maybe I have to watch it. That's one I haven't watched.
I know. I think it's because I like. I don't know. You like get pulled
Recommend.
into like the newer ones, I guess. But yeah, I definitely have
I
to
got her to
finish
watch it, and that
That's
took a
cool.
while. And she liked
It has a
it.
lot of seasons, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it
9
does.
beautiful seasons.
I'm still not done.
Uh, okay, Jessica, what's your favorite quote of the year?
Um, I feel like I don't have a specific quote. I think it's just the things that I tell myself. One thing that I live by is life's a bitch, so fuck it up. And it's just
Mhm.
like always pushing. I think when I first got injured, there was this idea that eventually it would get easier. And when finally someone said it'll never get easier, you're just going to get stronger, I was like, thank God someone finally told me, because it just felt like I was always waiting for it to get easier and I was just so
Mhm.
disappointed. So now I'm like, it's going to be hard and that's okay because I'm just going to keep going, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, I love the way that that's worded. I think that that's really important. um, because that's a question you get, that's what you wonder. You're like, when is this shit gonna go away? Like, I'm tired of feeling this way, but it's like I'm drained, I'm tired mentally, physically, everything, and so I think it's important to just go day by day, and like, what can I do to get through today? And like, that's what also Walter told me. This isn't my quote, but I'll share anyways. He was like, of course I want my legs to work, but like, if I wake up and they don't work today, I need to get in my wheelchair and I need to finish my day. And that just made so much sense to me. And I was like, that's true. I can't just sit in my bed forever and just hope for the day that my legs work. Like, nah, I gotta get up and I gotta do what I gotta do to make myself happy today. And so that was a really important and hard lesson for me to learn, but very important lesson for me to learn as well.
Hmm.
What about you, Maya? What's your favorite quote?
So my favorite quote. This is really like my favorite quote in life, not just of the year. And it is by Osho. He's like he's dead now, but he was a like religious spiritual leader in India, and people like looked at him crazy because it was like when spiritualism first started coming out. And the quote is, "If you love a flower, don't pick it up, because if you pick it up, it dies and it ceases to be what you love. So if you love a flower, let it be. Love is not about possession, it is about appreciation."
I
And
love that so much.
yeah, it's such a good one. And it just like really takes something, as small and beautiful as a flower, and like kind of just shows you like if you are like picking this flower, and it dies, like what was the point of picking the flower? It's not about possession, it's about looking at it and appreciating it. And I feel like that has so much value in so many different facets of life. So yeah, I love that quote.
Yeah, I think that was super powerful. I like that a lot. If any of our viewers have any quotes that you guys live by or you guys want to share with us, please feel free to put them in the chat. I love quotes because they just kind of give me a different perspective on life, and I love different perspectives, and I love that I can like relate to those quotes throughout my day. Actually, one of my healing things that I did when I was really making that progress to change was I wrote down like probably like over 50, 60 quotes that I just like saved throughout Instagram I saw, and I would read them every single day with my cup of coffee. And I was just like, I would also read like my 5 goals for my year, and like I had a couple other like requests, prayers that I would say to God. And I did it every single day. And probably like it took probably like a month or two. And they were just instilled in me. It gave me so much power, like to be able to think about that instead of thinking negatively, like I suck, I'm weak, when is this going to end? Why is life attacking me? Why does life hate me? All these things that go in our head when things go wrong, instead of like, no, I got to keep pushing. If I'm going through hell, I got to keep going, and just telling myself these things to get through the day. And like, that really helped me a lot. So that's why I really love quotes. My quote is, Practice the pause. Pause before assuming, pause before accusing, pause whenever you're about to react harshly, and you'll avoid doing and saying things you'll later regret. This quote really helped me a lot because I realized that I'm the type of person that reacts out of emotion. And a lot of times I need to just relax and I need to take a moment to think about the situation and calm down before I react or before I think a certain thing, and kind of just made me take a sit down, a real sit down and be patient and yeah, be aware of my emotions because my emotions get crazy when I'm triggered. Like if something makes me super sad, I'm like so emotional. If something makes me so happy, I'm like laughing super hysterically loud. Like if I'm mad, I'm like super cussed out angry. Like what the fuck is your problem? And like I need to chill on that anger part. I'm just like, calm down, girl, think about how they're feeling, think about the situation. And like that's just changed so much because it also prevents a lot of apologizing later because obviously those are not my what I feel. Those are initial reactions. And so I realized like by taking that pause, I avoid a lot of later apologizing and regrets. Okay, let's go over to our favorite song. Okay, Jessica, what's your favorite song or lyric?
The year?
Yeah.
I don't think I thought
What's
of
your favorite?
one.
Just your favorite song in general. Do you have a favorite song in general?
It is, but it's in Spanish.
Oh, I don't know
It's by
Spanish. You could still tell us.
It's by Shakira and it's called Antología. And she talks about how love isn't something you can actually define, and how when you truly love someone, it doesn't matter what the qualities or the things are, it's just who they are that makes you fall in love.
I love that. Yeah. How about you, Ashley and Nikki? What is your favorite song?
Okay, this was hard because I have a lot of favorite songs.
Same.
But currently, I Love Me by Russ. If you haven't listened, go listen. Amazing song. It hypes me up all the time. Okay. And then another one is Healing by Fletcher. It's just a nice song. There's a lyric in there that goes, "I ain't there yet, but I'm healing." It's a song about healing. Go listen to it. It's nice. It's pretty. So those are
I
my
love
two that I'll say currently. And then always Justin Bieber.
it.
Love
Love it. Those
the
seem super powerful. What about you, Nikki?
So I had picked two songs, right? Got them here. One was it's this song by Tink. She's a Chicago artist, and it's called "Hold the World Against Me." But basically, the song is just like she talks like she has a line in there like "Pain I feel strongly, can't trust the soul." I don't know. I just like I don't know. I be feeling it. Makes me feel away.
Mm-hmm.
Get the emotions out. So I like
Mm-hmm.
it. And then there's this song by Janine called "Love Me," and it's basically like like a positivity song, like loving you. Like she has a line, and I love this lyric, and I think everyone can relate to this. But it says, "It's easier to say when I act like I'm talking to somebody else. It's easier to say, but this time this is for myself. I'm loving me." Like basically saying like it's easier for us to tell other people like feel better, do this, give good advice, but then we don't take our own advice. Like
Mm-hmm.
she's loving
Mm-hmm.
her, like she's giving that, she loves other people. She's giving that same love to herself now. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that. I'm gonna have to go listen to that. Yeah, that's super, super important message.
It's a good
And
song.
that's why I love music too. It gives me the same
Yeah.
empowerment that it does um, uh, songs. I mean, no, TV shows. Sorry, my dog is distracting. Um, yeah, for sure. Okay, Maya, what's your favorite song?
So I also picked two songs. One that I love, that I've loved for a while, is "Love Yours" by J. Cole. I just really like that he inspires everyone in that song to like love their own life, no matter like what's going on in it, and it's never going to be better than your own life. We always want what we don't have, and sometimes when we get that, we're not happy still, so it's just like really loving your own life. And that song really picks me up. My second one that I just found this year is called Anchor by Sarah Jewers. And that is like a gospel Christian song. And like whenever I'm feeling down or anything, I could play this song and it just really picks me up. And in one of the lyrics that I love, she like tells God that where is it at? Your presence is my present and it's my treasure, so much better than silver or gold. And like Brianna, how we were talking about earlier, like just taking those moments and just breathing in and relaxing and like checking in with God, how valuable that is. And this really like anchors that in for me. That's funny. It's called Anchor and it anchors it in.
Yes. I love that. That's so, so cool. And like way cool that you can feel empowered by it, and that it
Mhm.
just like hits your soul. Like that's what I love about these certain songs. It was definitely hard for me to pick a song too. I love tons of different songs and I realized that I like the way that they sing the song, and sometimes I don't really think about it too much. But when I was going and reading the lyrics through, I was like, whoa, this is a little violent. I can't really read this song. I like really like I don't know, like that trap gospel music. I'll say artists for people that know that type of music, like Polo G and Rod Wave and NBA Youngboy. And I also like, women rappers as well, like Mulatto and City Girl, some of their songs and like stuff like that. Cardi B, I like all that. And then I like other pop songs that are like, Drake and everything else. My music is very all over the place. I also like love songs too, some Ashanti and some, R&B 20s. But I chose a fight song by Rachel Platten. That song just really gives me that really motivation to just, I want to scream in at the top of my lungs and just, it just empowers me so much. So one of the choruses says, "This is my fight song, take back my life song, prove I'm all right song. My power's turned on, starting right now, I'll be strong. I'll play my fight song. And I don't really care if nobody else believes in me because I still got a lot of fight left in me." So that really, really just motivates the heck out of me. And I'm like, yes, this is my fight song. I got this. And then I also chose for my rap song Untouchable by NBA Youngboy. That song just kind of explains like his struggles of where he was at and where he's at now. Like he never thought that these dreams were possible, and he's remembering like all those nights that he had to take care of his family, or they didn't have any food to eat, and he never thought that these dreams were going to come true, but they have, and to acknowledge them, and that just really reminds me too, like I'm my own self. I'm untouchable and I need to think about my dreams and how far I've come, because regardless of what everybody else has been through, I have my own journey and I've been through freaking hell. I've been through so freaking much and I need to acknowledge that, and I need to keep fighting. So those what those songs remind me about and really empower me. If any of our viewers have any songs, or anybody put any quotes, you guys don't like quotes or what? Um, Okay, let's see. Okay, our favorite movies or shows. You guys like watching movies or shows? I feel like this was another hard one for me because I watch so freaking many shows. But let's see what you guys are into. How about you, Ashley and Nikki? What shows are you into? We know One Tree Hill, but besides One Tree Hill.
Ashley said, "Oh." So for movies, I love romantic movies like The Vow, The Notebook, Dear John, The Last Song. You get the gist. Um, I also love the Marvel movies, like Captain America. And what's that one? Fantastic Four. Love that one. Cheaper by the Dozen is a classic.
Mhm.
This is a hard question. There's a lot of good. Age of Adeline. Love that movie. You're going in. What about you? So I'm a child. I am a child because when I was thinking of my favorite movies, it is Cheaper by the Dozen, The Lorax, and Coco. Okay. So I'm a child.
I feel like
But
they're empowering. Those movies are always empowering, and they always have like a lesson, and you don't
yeah, and they make
you
you
don't
feel
always
good.
want to
Like,
be. Yeah, they're
but my
feel good
favorite
movies.
TV show, I really like Scandal, and that's an
Scandal.
adult.
Ooh,
That's adult content. So
I
Oh, I
love
didn't think
Scandal. I
of
love me
those.
some Shonda Rhimes. Those are
Police,
great
How to
movies.
Get Away with Murder. That was good.
Ooh, so good.
ooh, The
Yeah,
Voice.
Oh yeah, The Voice. We
the
love The
the
Voice.
only
This
one
is
that I
the
haven't seen from
voice.
Shonda Rhimes is the new one that just came out. Like it's like they're like queens and
Disney.
stuff. What is it? It starts with a B. You know what I'm talking about or no? No, nobody knows what I'm talking about. Okay,
Oh,
well, it's a new
No.
Shonda. Yeah, I think you almost said like Brington. No, I don't
Bridgerton.
know.
Is that
Bridgerton,
her?
something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. Okay, anyways, we'll move on from that.
Oh, On My
Okay.
Block.
Oh, On My Block is a good one.
Show On
Great
My
one,
Block.
great
I
one.
love that show.
Oh, they agree
I
together.
hate it.
I eat the
Uh,
marmalade.
how about you, Maya? What are your favorite movies and shows of the year?
Okay, so Nikki, I am also a child. My favorite movie is The Lion King forever.
Oh,
Yes.
that's a good one.
I have, oh wait, wrong arm. I have a Hakuna Matata tattoo on my arm. That is
Aw.
my that is my movie. Um, I love Moana. Love, love, love
Oh,
Moana.
that's another good one.
And
Oh.
then my favorite show, of course, is Grey's Anatomy. I watched all 17 seasons of that in like a month, which is actually embarrassing, but that's okay.
That's
I
wow.
don't think I think it's a
It's
champion.
impressive.
um, I watch Grey's Anatomy like a million times. Like literally, I go to sleep with Grey's Anatomy on. Like it's just something that I already know all the scenes like in my head. I don't even have to be looking at that shit anymore. It's really like that crazy. But I just love the way that they put perspective into different situations. So that's what I really love about it. It's given me tons of different perspective about religion, about my health, about love, about family, and I just really love those types of shows that really put that stuff into perspective for me. Um, how
Mhm.
about you, Jessica?
I think the Disney movies are the only movies I can watch on repeat. I'm not big on watching things over and over, but those I can. I watched The Lion King every day, like 3 times a day when my son was little, so I can always watch that. And then all the Marvel movies, I have to watch them all. And then I'm kind of, like a nerd, so I watch things like like Lord of the Rings stuff, and then I like history, like any World War II movies, any documentaries, things like that. And then with shows, I think the last show I watched was what was it, like Bridgington or something, right?
Oh, that's
That
the
one
one
was,
I was freaking talking about this whole time, Jessica.
oh, okay. So that one, I honestly like the past like 3 4 years. I don't watch a lot of TV, and I've been trying to do more of like when people suggest a show to get into it. So I think that one was a good one. And then me and my son just watched Wanda Reports. So another like Marvel or DC. So yeah, a lot of superhero stuff. I have a boy, guys.
Wait,
I'm
are you
usually
talking about One Division?
no. It's the one where it's like they're in like the 60s or something.
Oh, okay.
There's a new little heroes movie that he'll probably like. It's like the hero. It's like the kids of all the heroes, and there's a little boy in a wheelchair, and it's so cute. They make him like the leader, and my little brother absolutely loved it so much.
My nieces are into like anything that has something with a wheelchair. Like
Mhm.
I mean, this is like a spoiler. She won't watch this, but she wanted a Barbie dream house. So there's an accessible Barbie dream house and a non-accessible one. So my mom got her the accessible one because she wants the Barbie in the wheelchair.
Oh, that's so cute. Yeah, I think that that's so cool that we're just changing their perspective. I mean, that's what we talk about, changing the next generation, to see disability as something as regular, and that's how they do see us. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm also into a tons of different things. Movies I randomly just watch. For some reason, I was like trying to look up things that came out like this year. That was harder for me, but I should have just went randomly. Probably not, because I probably would have been looking at my Netflix thing for like fucking ever. But the Britney versus Spears documentary was really great movie. I think that that one was really powerful, and really gave me an insight to really what famous people deal with. I feel like a lot of times you think like it's this glamour life, and I feel like a lot of them go through mental health and go through a lot of trouble and tribulations as well. And so yeah, that was a good documentary movie that I like to watch. As for shows, I love The Circle is one of my favorite reality shows. That show just makes me so happy when I'm watching it. I'm like laughing nonstop. And my boyfriend's like, what the heck is wrong with you, girl? And I'm just like, I love these people. They're so funny. So that's like my feel good show to watch. And then I
I'm
absolutely
gonna apply
love,
for that
love what?
show.
Huh?
I'm gonna apply for that show
Oh,
for as a
yeah.
joke,
You
but if I make it, I'm gonna do it
as
Do it.
yourself or as somebody else?
as no as myself.
Oh,
Yeah,
See how
you
far I
should.
get.
You should apply. I think that that's super cool. But if they film it in England or something.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's in the UK.
Yeah, it's in the UK. I heard that. So my other show that I really like is Wentworth. Wentworth just came out with their last season. I love Wentworth. That shit is like
So
A1
good.
acting. So good. It's like in Australia or something. So good. My mom, she didn't want to watch it because she was like, I don't like their accents, blah, 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 blah. She finally watched it, so obsessed with it. I'm telling you, if you like any, like, how do I describe this? I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that's gone. Like, it's very like raunchy. It's like drama, crime. They're in prison, so it's like a prison show. It's like Orange is the New Black, but a lot more realer. Yeah, I really like that one. I like it more for like the storyline. I really appreciate a good storyline, good acting, and good editing. Like, I love a show, that one in particular. They do great angles and great shots that I just really appreciate throughout the show. So that's what I really like looking at. So that's a good one. And then the newest ones that I watched that I couldn't decide on was You was really good. I really liked You. And then I really liked Made as well. You is about um this sounds kind of creepy to describe as, wow, Jesus, what's wrong with me? This guy is about like some stalker guy that it shows, I don't know, it's been on top 10 on Netflix. None of you guys have watched it.
Yes, I've seen it. I love you.
It's with the yeah, it's with the Gossip Girl guy. It's so good. I'm all feeling like a weirdo
Yeah.
over here. Yeah, it's a pretty good show. They're already on the third season, and there's like a tons of memes on it, and yeah, it's just it's interesting. And then Maid is the newer one too, and that's about a girl that escapes a domestic violence relationship with her daughter, and it really shows like the in and out of how hard it is to leave, and it really shows her like going to a DV shelter and finding herself again. And I could just personally relate to that story because I went to a shelter with my mom, and it just brought back a lot and just gave me a lot of respect for her as well. It just shows how hard it is. People think it's so easy to walk out that front door, but it's not. And I think that that was an important movie for me to watch, and just gave me some empowerment as well to remember how far me and my family have came. So yeah, that was a great movie. All right, we kind of took a long time. We like movies and shows a lot, obviously. Okay, so favorite books. Any favorite books? Do we have any readers? Any readers?
Mhm.
No. Nicole, Ashley, you're a reader, right? Okay, what's your favorite book?
yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna give you guys a few that I read recently, more recently, right?
Mm-hmm.
That I think were beneficial. There's one called Clarity and Connections by Young Pueblo. Hopefully I said his name right. It's a poetry book, so it's like a very easy read. And it was just like about like the healing journey. Like little poetry, little snippets about the healing journey, and I loved it. It was very relatable to what I'm dealing with now. And everybody should read it. I think it was a good book. And then another one was Women Don't Owe You Pretty by Florence Given. Just a great women empowerment book. made me feel like a badass after. It just gives you like, nice. It's a self help book type of thing, which are not really my thing, but this was a good one. And then another one was It's All in Your Head by Russ. And that was just about like his journey. If you're a Russ fan, it was just about his journey and how he got to where he is and manifestation and all that. And it was a good book. It was a good book. So those three. What
I
about
love
you?
them. Nikki, do you read?
Yeah, that was my favorite books. One is Atomic Habits. It's like a self help book, tells you how to habits, and it really helped me like become like consistent. I feel like with things like create healthy habits. So that was a good book read, and I read that a few years ago. And then I also recently read a book, and I thought it was really interesting because I've been trying to. I like to like learn new things, and it was called Man Enough, and it was just like talking about like mans, like and how they try to be masculine, but then we're like told that we want them to be vulnerable, but then they're conditioned to be like tough and stuff. It was an interesting book because it was a man's perspective, so it was pretty interesting.
It was actually by Justin Baldoni, the dude that is on Jane the Virgin.
Yeah,
Raphael,
Oh,
if
yeah.
anybody watches that show. It was by him, and
Yeah.
it was a really good book.
yeah, it was really informative.
Oh, I'll have to check it out. I love that. I love hearing about new books. I've only recently gone into like new books really like this last like year, and I've been obsessed with it. I think it just gives me a whole new perspective and like relaxation of reading.
Yeah, and you can learn a lot of new things. Like right now, I'm reading a book called "Why." It's like something. Why are you that way? And it's by
Oh,
Oprah and another doctor, and they're talking about like growing up with childhood trauma and stuff. And it's like interesting. I love learning new things. That was interesting.
Yeah, yeah, I'll have to check it out. That's good. How about you, Jessica?
Well, actually, I have a reading club on Instagram called Read Amigas with my friends. So a lot of the books that we read are really women empowerment. The one we are finishing up right now is called The New Latinas Bible, and I just like the culture relevance. I think a lot of empowerment books leave out like the culture piece because they're written by white women a lot. And so it was just good to read a book where I could really identify um, with. And then we read one called I Am Diosa, which is really good as a therapist. I recommend it a lot to people. It's kind of, she's a therapist too. And so she kind of guides you through a healing journey, and there's a lot of activities and prompts that I really like. If anyone's in therapy, it's even better to do it alongside with your therapist. And then one book that I've always really loved is called Tattoos of the Heart, and it's by what's his name, Father Boyle. He started Homeboy Industry,
Mm.
and I think it really speaks to my profession and why I do what I do. I think that it really digs into the power of empathy and compassion and how we don't know anyone's story, yet we're quick to judge why they do what they do. So I think a lot of the books that I read that really stand out to me have that mental health or psychology component. So I think that those are three that I would say maybe add like Brene Brown, Dare to Lead, who's again another therapist. Those are kind of like the books that I go to the most.
Yeah, I think those are important. There's a lot of lessons in them. And there's like different ways that people can take in those lessons. Not everybody's open to therapy, but they might be open to a book. So I think it's important to share. I'll have to definitely check them out. Like somebody specifically written by a therapist. I think that would give me a different perspective on things or just see how they view it. That's what I like as well. How about you, Maya? Are you into reading?
Yes, I am. So, I picked out three books to share. One of them is called White Fragility, and that book it came. I think it came out in 2020. But that book has like really taught me a lot within myself, like as being like a biracial woman, like the different biases and things that I have that I didn't even know about, and that have just been like kind of ingrained in our culture and ingrained like in the world in society. So that's like really educational, and especially with such a heightened time in like racism in the United States and everything. I think it's really good to read and just to learn so you're not like hurting other people and you're just like more educated about the way things work in life a little bit. My second one that I picked is Being Human by Judith Human. And I'm sure some of you guys know Judith Human. She helped pass like some of the ADA laws and the IEP law, actually. She held like a sit in for 30 days to protest. And back in her day, it was like unheard of to see a person in a wheelchair, like going out and protesting and fighting for rights. And me as an activist, like I relate to that so much. So I love, love, love Judith Human, love that book. And then my third one was a book that I read in the fourth grade, and it's called The Skin I'm In by Sharon G. Flake. And it's like about this girl who is in seventh grade and she's struggling with like low self esteem because she looked different than everyone else. And when I was in the fourth grade, I was dealing with like racism from a teacher and stuff. So I really resonated with that book and it helped me out a lot.
I love it. I love that we have so many empowering books that we read. I'm super excited to check some of these out. Okay, so my book, I chose three as well. So my first one is If Life is a Game, These Are the Rules, and that's by Cherry Carter. It was introduced in the Chicken Soup for the Soul. So those Chicken Soup books have a lot of good stuff, and this was actually these 10 things were on him. There's like just she goes through the main things that we battle in life. This was the first self-help book that I read, and it made me realize how many things that I'm doing that so many other people are doing too, and it's just the fact that I wasn't taught right how to view these different things, whether it's like thinking that the grass is greener on the other side, and not really focusing on where you're at now, or just forgiving. Um, and I really like that book because after she gives like the rule, she will give an example like in her life or in somebody else's life. So you can really get like a story out of that lesson of each little thing that she says. So I really like that. It's like a little tiny book and it's just a really good read. Not expensive at all neither. My other one is Girl Stop Apologizing. That one I did in the Rolettes BBS. I read that one with all of us read it together, and that was a very very empowering book. It just reminded me, to how powerful that I am, and it was a self-help book. There was like different lessons inside of it that I feel like I really needed to understand, because I'm the type of person that are like, I'm sorry I did this, sorry I did that, sorry I did this, like I remember even in rehab they literally told me, you have to stop apologizing, this is our job, because every single thing that they would do for me, I'm just like, I'm sorry. And like even like me and Sean are writing back and forth to each other and we're just like, sorry, and I'm like, I think we need to work on saying sorry to each other. It's just one of those things that you don't really acknowledge that you do, but it's like you don't need to say that. There's different ways to word things, and so I think it's just a way to feel your most best self. And when I'm not doing that, then I get in my head a lot, and I doubt like my actions. So that was a really, really good book. Also, if you're a mom, there's like a whole chapter. She's also a mom. So there's a lot of relations to how to deal with your kids or how to make time for yourself or different things like that. Or if you're in a relationship or with family, all those other things. Those are great. The one I'm reading right now is You Are a Badass: How to Stop Doubting Your Greatest and Start Living an Awesome Life by Jen Sincero. This one is a great, great book as well. I'm only halfway done, but just super empowering. Just they did a great chapter on forgiving, on loving yourself, on give and let give. There's just a bunch of things that help me throughout my day, like I've said a million times. Okay, so those are my favorite books.
Love Jen
I'm super excited.
Sincero.
What one?
She has
What'd you say?
another. I was saying I love Jen Sincero. She has another good book. In her little series, like You Are a Badass. She has one. You Are a Badass at Making Money. Highly
Oh,
recommend.
I have it. I haven't read it and I have it on my shelf. I
Oh,
already
I'll have
got
Got
to
her.
it, but
check it
I
out.
haven't
I
read it.
love her. Yeah, I really like people who are just real, and like cuss in their self help books and to just like, really give you real examples of life. Like I really relate to that a lot, and it just has really helped me progress in my life and remind me that I am a badass. Remind me that I need to start apologizing, like all these things that I need to enforce. It really just helps you make it official inside of your brain, because sometimes it's easy to forget when you're going through it. Um, Okay, so we're definitely going over our time a little bit. I don't know if anybody has to go, but let's see. Let's see. Do you guys have people to follow? Maybe we should mention those people to follow, and then we can add that in the chat box as well. Um, so let's start with Ashley and Nikki. Did you guys write down people to follow?
Yeah. I had Christina. I do not know how to say her last name, but a Holgoods, but she's a
Um,
twin.
is there a way for you guys to put it in the chat box by any chance, or your guys' chat box doesn't pop up?
Oh yeah, I could probably put it in there.
Just so that they could see what we're talking about for right now.
How do we add it?
There should be like
Yeah.
a little button to click on
Yeah,
like
it's
the
already,
chat.
yeah. Um, Real crip shit. I really like her stuff.
Hmm.
She's a paraplegic, and then also I recently started following the Food Babe, and she kind of like talks about like healthy food alternatives, and I don't know, that stuff interests me. I don't like follow it now, but it's interesting. It's interesting to learn about some things that you're putting inside your body for sure.
Hmm.
Those are my three.
Yeah,
Those
Really,
are great.
mine. I recently started following. It's at the Creating Wonders. A nice page, daily reminders and advice that just needs to be heard sometimes. It's cute. And then at Let's Talk Period Mental Health. In their bio, it literally said thought provoking content for your mind. It's a good page. And I also love Andrew Gerza. I hope I said his last name right. He's a disabled content creator who's just like extremely honest about his lived experience with the disability. So yeah, those are my three. I'll put them in
Great,
the
great.
chat.
There's so many great people to follow in the community. I think like even following like some of the hashtags are so important. Um, Maya, do you have any three pages that you want to, or any top pages that you like to follow?
Yeah, I do. So one of the ones that I love is on Instagram is at Last Prisoner Project. And if you guys know me, I am a co-founder of a Illinois Prisoner Rights Coalition. So that's like a big thing on my heart. And they just post a lot of informative information about like what's going on within the prison system and um, what type of like crimes and stuff like are criminalized, and how people are still in jail for like having weed, which is like highly, it's like legal in a lot of states, and people are still serving like a lot of time for that. And they show you like a lot of different information about that. Another person on Instagram that I just followed is Monica Ingle Thomas, and Ingalls with an E. So it's like Monica Engle Thomas. I really like her. I haven't seen her like before in our community. She is in the disability community, but she talks a lot about like her curly hair and her hair journey and stuff. So that's something that I want to like get into. I'm trying to learn how to get my curl pattern down. Like it's a whole mess right now, but trying to figure that out. um, and another person is at Sweet Greens Vegan. I love vegan recipes because I'm dairy free. So, and I only eat fish and chicken, but love, love, love vegan food pages. And love looking at food on Instagram.
Love it. How about you, Jessica? You have any top pages you like to follow?
Yes, I would say Latinx therapist. Um, I think there's another one. So I think culture is so important when it comes to selecting a therapist. And I think a lot of people go to directories like Psychology Today. And I mean, I'm listed on there, but I feel that having that cultural uh, humility and someone that can understand your cultural background is really important. So I would say Latinx therapist, and then um, there's another one. Hold on. So that's one registry that I think is really important. And then I would say one of my friends has a really good page called Crippled is Beautiful. And so she shares really good stuff. And then I would say I would have like anyone out there who has a disability, she has a website where she just takes everyone's submissions for blogs. So she's always encouraging us to submit blogs. Um, because I think our stories need to be told and they're so different. So she has some really great stuff, different disabilities. um so I love her. And I think there's, let me see. Oh yeah, and then anyone looking for a therapist who is African American, there's therapy for Black girls. So again, I think cultural competency is really important. And I know it's really hard to find therapists that look like us, whether it's Latinos or Black people. So I think if everyone out there is looking for a therapist, these registries are really good because they show you therapists all through the US.
Love it. Thank you so much. I think that's so important too. I think sometimes it's not things that we take into account when we're finding a therapist, and honestly turns a lot of people off to therapy, like because they get somebody who can't relate to them, who they don't like, and they tell them some whack stuff, and they're like, "No, I'm not doing it again. I hated the experience. I hated the way they made me feel," and they give up on it. And it's really a trial and error thing, really having to find somebody who has the same beliefs as you, who knows how to deal with trauma if that's something that you're going through, to deal with your background, to be able to just relate to you in that way. Because if not, you're looking at somebody and you're like, for me personally, especially like when I was younger as well, and they tried to put me in therapy, I was like, okay, you're over there with your perfect little picket fence house and your two perfect kids and your perfect husband, and you're telling me that it's going to be okay. Like, you have no idea it's going to be okay. Like, what the hell? Like, and like, that was my take on it. Of course, I view things so differently now, but I think that's the way a lot of people do view it in the beginning, and you're just like, you feel like you're being knocked down for admitting that you have things wrong with you. And that's what our society has a problem with, being vulnerable and being open about the way that they're really feeling, and so when you have to sit in a room and feel like you're being, quote unquote judged by somebody, and being told that the way maybe the things that you're doing might be, you need to do it differently or whatever, you can feel animosity quickly, especially if you don't relate to that person, so
Yeah.
that's so
And
important. Therapy is so important.
I would just say also, like, unfortunately, like, therapy was created by white men. So it's really hard if you're a person of color to sit in a room where your therapist is white, because if they don't have the cultural humility, if they're not open to learning of people's cultures, and really understanding that the client is the expert, right? Like, you can't tell someone that racism doesn't exist or that it's not affecting their mental health. That's just insane. But for them, it's not a reality to them. So it's really hard. It's like, even I feel bad because I'm one of like the only disabled therapists. There's only a couple out there. And I can't even work outside of the state of California because I'm not licensed. And then I have clients that are like, how am I going to talk to an able bodied people? Like, they don't get it.
Mhm.
So, anyone
Yeah.
who's a therapist out there with a disability, go to private practice.
Yeah. Go to
Mhm.
school, and we need more people. I realized that too, when I was at the World's Experience, because I kind of had some people that she was designing houses, designing weddings, whatever it is, and it's like we really need more people behind the scenes, in movies, all kinds of different things. We just need us out there, and I think that it's hard for our community because we are battling against the government. I don't really feel like they push us to be out there, and they really make it very, very difficult for us. And we really have to fight against that, you know. But don't give up, don't be discouraged, and know that you're making a change by fighting against that system, you know, and by even going to school and seeing what you could be interested in. And don't let your first thought be, I can't do that in a wheelchair, because you know what, you'd be surprised about how many things you could change, or about how many people I've seen. Like, I've met mechanics, I've met chefs, I met all kinds of people who have told me like, I can no longer be this, but I know that there's just a different way. I know that that's hard to picture when you're first injured, you know, but it's because we're not seeing it. You go into a restaurant and you're not seeing disabled cooks, you know? So in their mind they're like, how the heck could I possibly even be that, you know? And so yeah, strive for your dreams and don't give up. I think that that's really important regardless of what they are. Okay. So do you guys think that we should go over goals really quick? Do you guys want to go through it really quickly? Do you guys have like a small and big goal you guys just want to say? You guys think you guys can do it? Just we'll go really fast, okay? Yeah. Okay. Great. Okay, Ashley and Nikki, what are your small and big goal? Oh, you're on mute.
Okay, sorry. My small
Yeah.
big goal, I think, is to just improve. Also, just good vibes. You know, see the best. Um, get things done that feel like been taking forever. Actually, tomorrow, I'm going to pick up our modified van that I could be drive. So that's
Oh, that's
exciting.
huge. That's a big goal. That's gonna be
And
so
finally,
huge.
so I feel like we're gonna be able to do more now, and just like I'm excited for that. So
Oh, I love that for you.
Heck yeah.
How about you, Ashley?
Uh, for me, I don't know. I guess like small goal is to like start being more consistent, doing it like little by little, day by day, doing more and more. Because I'm horrible at working out. I could be better. Um, and then a bigger goal is honestly I have so many ideas, right? And I'm tired of sleeping on them and talking down on myself about them. I want to put one of those ideas to life because it's time. Sleeping on myself. So that's my
Yes,
goals.
girl. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that that's so important. You know, I always try to remind myself, in a year, you would have wished you started today. Like, you just got to start, you know, you got to make that from the very beginning. It can't just be an idea. It's got to be, what do I got to do? What do I got to do next? What do I got to do next? What do I got to do next? You know, like,
Exactly.
really put it into perspective. And I think that that helps when you're planning out those big ideas. You know, it's like a lot of people are less qualified and they're out there making it and doing things that we're more qualified for, just because we don't have that urge, you know, that consistentness, you know. That's something that I struggle a lot with as well, to deal with. Okay, so Maya, what are your small and big goal for next year?
So my small goal would be like getting my niche like more uh, okay, let me rephrase, like nailing down my niche on Instagram, because like
Hmm.
a lot of the stuff I post right now is just like random content, like whatever I feel like posting, but I want to post more about like my advocacy and figuring out how to like put that into content that people like want to watch, and just figuring all that out. And my big goal, I want to go to an able-bodied dance class. And that's like very like scary, you know, but as Brianna
Hmm.
just said, in a year you wish you started today, which needs to go on the favorite quote list. But um,
For sure.
yeah, I definitely want to go, and because one of my goals is to like eventually start choreographing and maybe teach a dance class as a quad. There aren't many quads that are like teaching dance classes and stuff, or if I've seen any actually. So yeah, That was like two pretty big goals in one, but
Yeah, that's huge. I can't wait to see you achieve those goals. And that's why I really like asking it and like following up with people. And I think it's such an important question to ask your family and friends as well. Ask the little kids inside your family, like, what are your goals? You know, make it normal to make goals. I think it really helps me like make a routine in my life to have those goals and to really achieve them. Gives me like this just power, you know, that makes me feel like I can do anything. So yeah, I think that that's really important. Jessica, what are your small and big goals for next year?
Well, I think my small goal would be okay, hold on. So my small goal still for this year is to hit my number of clients so that by next year I get to double my income instead of breaking even. So I would say have 22 individual clients. And then my big goal is just doing more public speaking. I want to actually be like a public speaker that's paid to do it. So those are my big goals.
I love it. Yeah, that's a good one. I get told to be a speaker a lot, and it's just one of those things that, you know, we have to do because we have great stories. We've lived through so much, you know, and that's what's kind of cool is that we're just like able to talk to people and relate to them, and they're able to connect with us, you know, on a different level. And it's something that we should embrace, you know, and go out there and share. And if we're not out there sharing our stories, who's sharing them? Oh my gosh, I don't know if you can hear my dog today, but he is on crap. Jesus, he's not having it. Sorry, scratching way down here. So yeah, I think that that is so cool and so important. So for me, my small mid goals are going to be my small goal is to be making more designs. I just designed just randomly like those shirts designs that I did for the Live to Roll that you guys have might have seen on our merch account. Like that's just something that I like to do in my free time, and I just put it to doing it more like wheelchair designs and really like wheelchair themed shirts and stuff like that. So I don't only want to make my designs, but I also want to move forward on getting the equipment to do whatever I want to do and to make sure that I'm just moving along forward on that and deciding on things because I have a really big problem on making decisions. And then my big goal is just going to be growing our YouTube show more. I really just want to reach more people and just come up with more topics and just do the best that we can do. So I really just want to see and manifest our YouTube channel growing and just being able to reach a larger audience and really able to help those people out. And yeah, so those will be my small and big goals for next year. So I'm so excited for all of us to be achieving them and to be going and tackling them. You know, there's going to be a lot of ups and downs. So make sure that we lean on one another for them, you know, and make sure that we speak out instead of just giving up. Because sometimes goals can become so overwhelming that we kind of back away instead of attacking them. And we need to get in the habit of not doing that. So that's just my little advice. So yeah, that's all we have for you today. Does anybody else have any last words that you guys want to wrap up on or anything on your mind? Are we all good? We good?
all good.
Okay. So I hope you guys got to learn some more about us. That's what this show is all about, is just to dive a little deeper. You know, of course, our disability is a huge part of our lives, but we're more than our disability, and we have a lot of other stuff going on in our lives. And we're people who have, you know, hobbies and have interests that we do and that are different. So we really want to share that and showcase that. So yeah, that's why I love this show so much. So I hope that gave you guys something and helped you guys learn a little bit more. If you guys are watching this after the fact and have anything that you guys want to add, any books, any comments, any quotes, please feel free to do that. I do go through and read them, and people do read them when they click on the video, and it does help somebody else who might have the same question or might have the same interest as you. So yeah, please do that. We are back every first and third Thursday with a new women's show, and Sean is back with the guys every Tuesday at 3:30. They do amazing topics on there, so make sure to check them out. We have our new merch that dropped on the liveToroll.org site, so make sure to support us for that. We really, really appreciate it. And I think that's all my announcements. Oh yeah, follow us on our Live to Roll account and help us with any likes or comments or any like that. Instagram algorithm. I promise you know I'm really just not trying to get your likes. Like we really need that stuff to boost it to in order for other people to see it, see the hashtags, all that stuff, to make it go to the top of their feeds. Unfortunately, the Instagram algorithm is kind of hard to beat, you know. So yeah, so just help us out with that. We really appreciate it. Jesus, I always lose my talking on this end part. Okay, we really appreciate it. Thank you for watching. We will see you in 2 weeks. Peace out. Bye.
Bye.